Where did you get the name Hell of a? You're just a hell of a guy?
Like, that's what it stands for,
right.
for sure. But it was like a neighbor who was like an auntie to me.
Really?
It's some old song called Hell of a. She used to sing it every time she seen me.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Auntie sister.
That's dope. Okay, so Claire, just to fit this all back together, at what point did it even occur to you, like, maybe I could rap, maybe I can make music? Was there any thought of that early on, or is that like the last couple of years?
Well, so you're kind of leading into my most asked question, which is like, why did I start rapping? How did I get into it?
I think everybody should rap. So I'm not judgmental at all.
I like that perspective.
Yeah. Definitely no gatekeeping here. No like, oh, you're a white girl, so you shouldn't rap. No, I think we got to open up rap. The more the merrier. That's
not even what I interpreted it by when you say everyone should rap. I mean, in Detroit, we've got the teachers rapping. We've got everybody. I mean, everybody in Detroit raps.
Because I'm going to be real with you, like, artists like BFB and Rio and like that like me even like getting on songs and rapping with my friends from time to time, very much influenced by a lot of the stuff in Detroit, because it's like there's just such an emphasis placed on being witty and funny and having a good time, and it's very approachable, as opposed to like, you know, if your idea of like rap is like Kendrick Lamar and he's this great artist and everything is so you know, highbrow, it's like that's kind of intimidating. Whereas like I listen to Rio the Young OG and I'm like, oh, okay, this is all about just saying some funny shit, making your homies laugh while you're in the studio, having a good time. Okay, I got it. Like,
well, they're up in Flint, so that's a little bit different, but same.
Now you're gatekeeping. Dude, I'm not from over there. I don't know. No, but everybody always says that. So, okay, break down the difference between Flint and Detroit sound-wise for the people out there.
I feel like Flint flows don't really have a hook.
True. Yeah. Largely, yeah.
And their beats are a little bit more based out, trapped out, a little bit grittier.
Yeah.
Detroit beats are a little bit more melodic.
Okay.
But it's like they come from each other, though.
Yeah.
Right. No, I remember, like, speaking of that Lil Yachty Detroit album, I just remember like listening to that the whole way through and just being like very bored with the production by the end of it, because that steel drum sound was like, it just hit so hard when it first came out, and then it just kind of started to grate at my ears after a while, to be totally honest.
To me, Flint beats are like the easiest beats to just talk shit on.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and stay barred up too.
I wanted to kind of like launch her off with like a one mic. I'm like, we're gonna do a one mic, and I got a producer that I work with called Wayne, and he's from Grand Rapids, but he's like super good at the Flint style. So I'm like, man, send me a Flint beat, man. I'm gonna tell Claire to write to it, because it's just like the Flint beats, just go on it.
Definitely. So, okay, how did you start conceiving of the idea to actually rap?
Well, it's kind of a long story.
We're here for it. Yeah.
Okay. So when my freshman year of college, I went down to school in Florida. I was in West Palm Beach. I went to the Northwood down there, like as it was getting bought out. And my friends down there, they were all rappers. And they're still rappers today. They don't necessarily drop any music. They mostly really just make music for the group chat and for the love of it. And so they made a booth out of the coat closet in the dorms. And my one friend was like, you should be a rapper. Like, you should get on the mic and rap. And I was 17. I'm glad I didn't, because I feel like I needed to live more life in order to figure out what I wanted to say and figure out like myself. And I probably wouldn't have been that good at that age either. But he planted the seed in my head that like, if I were to rap, like my friends were here for it and here to support me. So years later, I was going to AA for an alcohol problem.
Really?
Yeah.
How bad did you get?
Pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah, I was an alcoholic really since I was like a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you even discover it?
Discover alcohol?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, where I'm from, and it's just so normalized in West Dearborn.
But you just had friends from high school that you were drinking with and stuff?
I can't even say that it was just like friends, because it's like, I mean, I come from a big Irish Catholic family, so it's like, it's just so normalized where I come from. So it's easy to get it's easy to get caught up in that.
Were you like a party drunk, or are you the kind of person who was like sneaking shots all day to make it through the day, just kind of keeping that buzz going?
Both.
Okay.
But it was getting more and more serious as I was like in my 20s, and it had been going on for a long time. I was hospitalized a couple times for like my organs shutting down and shit. It was pretty serious.
Oh shit, that sounds rough.
Yeah, so I felt like, I finally made it to LA. I finally made it to AA.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a miracle because I never thought I would actually make it to AA. But then as I was actually getting sober, which I never thought I would actually do, I knew myself well enough to know that I couldn't stay sober just like sitting at home and watching TV. Like I couldn't just like sit around and stare at the walls and think that was going to work.
An idle mind is the devil's playground.
Yeah. And
That shit is so true.
yeah.
No, for sure.
And us alcoholics, I've done like extensive research on this problem. And it's like us alcoholics, we do crave a certain level of intensity, and we all have that in common.
Mm.
So my body was in pretty rough shape because of the alcoholism. So I couldn't go back to bodybuilding, which is what I was into before. I just felt like it was too, like, that would be too much, putting too much pressure on myself when I was like not ready to do that.
That is funny you say that, because over the years, I've always been kind of like a casual bodybuilding fan, or like just interested in weightlifting. And that's one thing I was really shocked by, is to find out that like some of the greatest bodybuilders of all time were also managing alcoholism at the same time, which is kind of crazy to think that you're like taking in an extra, 1,000 calories worth of alcohol throughout the day, and then meanwhile you're like ripped.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head. Like that's why my body was in rough shape.
Right, most people would think that would be impossible, because it's like, number one thing that I'm going to tell you if you want to get in shape is like stop drinking, because you're taking in a shitload of extra calories for no reason, and it's poison.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, so my body was in rough shape. I felt like that wasn't a safe thing to put all my effort into, because I feel like that would be too dangerous. Like I would probably end up drinking again if I got frustrated off that.
Because bodybuilding itself is kind of an addiction. It's like an addiction that you kind of have to manage. It's like positive, but it's also like, did you take it to an extreme degree where it's kind of negative, or?
No, because I was never competing.
Okay.
So it was really recreational, and I wasn't like that serious about it. I was just like with my girlfriends going to the gym, doing pull-ups, push-ups, lifting as heavy as I could, going up every week. Like it was that, but I was definitely getting like the endorphins, whatever, from that. Like I was loving it. Okay. For sure. And so you didn't have a job at this time when you were? No, I always had a job. Come on, Adam.
So you're quitting alcohol, but you're like worried about just like sitting on the couch all day. But you did have a job during all that.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I was working from home. This is during the pandemic. So yeah, which is kind of like a gateway into drinking, because I'm working from home, so no one really knew. Like
it just freaks me out, because it's like I just do interviews constantly where the pandemic is just this huge X factor in everybody's life. Yeah. Like almost every OnlyFans girl that I have a conversation with, it's like, and then the pandemic hits, and then it's like their whole life changes in some way.
Yeah, but I was an alcoholic before then. Like that didn't make me an alcoholic. I already was.
Right. But it, probably opened you up to have more time to be able to drink and whatnot, right?
Potentially, I think, yeah.
Okay.
So at that time, my college friends from Florida, they kind of pushed me to go to AA. So I did it, and then I was getting sober, and then they're like, I think it was my idea to start rapping, because I figured like I have to channel all of this extra energy that I have into something. And they were already there supporting me with getting sober. So then they're like, why don't you come down to Florida, get in the studio? And it took me a couple months to make it down there. But in the meantime, I wouldn't leave my house for months. I got sober in like August of 2022. I like for three or 4 months, like December, I finally got into the studio in Florida. In the meantime, I wrote like 73 pages of lyrics in my Google Doc.
Wow.
I was just like going through like Detroit type beats, Flint type beats. And like, I was just obsessed.
And that just became your new addiction to replace alcoholism with?
Pretty much.
Definitely.
And when I started rapping, it was never like, oh, I'm going to become, it was never that. It was like a game I was playing with myself of like, let me make this verse, let me make the wordplay harder, let me go harder on the pattern, let me teach myself something. Like I was really just trying to compete with myself. And during that time, because lyrics was never really my problem, like the wordplay and stuff, like that was that part I feel like came naturally.
Okay, so you just saw the clip, but did you know that you can watch this entire interview right now before it's released to the public, uncensored, by becoming a member for just $5 a month, and there's a lot of other crazy benefits as well. So make sure you hit the link down in the description and sign up. Appreciate y'all.